In sports, some names echo through time. Legends who are chiseled into history books, their feats told and retold across generations. But some heroes, their stories fade quietly, despite burning just as brightly. Todd Christensen's story isn't one of a steady climb to glory. It's the story of a man whose life was a series of brutal battles. Some he won, some he lost, but all fought with a relentless, fiery heart. This is the true, heartbreaking story of a champion who gave everything, and whose greatest fight wasn't on the field at all. Todd J. Christensen was born on a cool summer day in 1956, in the modest town of Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. Even as a boy, there was something different about him. Where others stumbled, Todd sprinted. Where others dreamed, Todd achieved. By the time he was 9 years old, he wasn't just competing. He was smashing records, setting world best marks in youth decathlons and athletics events most kids could barely pronounce. When his family moved to Eugene, Oregon, the landscape changed, but Todd's unstoppable drive remained. His father, Ned Christensen, a university professor and a deeply spiritual man, instilled in Todd a deep commitment to faith, education, and perseverance. Growing up under the vast Oregon skies, framed by endless forest and cool Pacific winds, Todd didn't just become a great athlete, he became a force of nature. At Sheldon High School, he dazzled on both the football field and the baseball diamond. Coaches would later describe watching young Todd as seeing a rare animal in the wild. Raw, powerful, graceful. His performances were electric, and they earned him a scholarship to Brigham Young University, a school whose future-focused offense was decades ahead of its time. At Brigham Young University, Todd redefined the role of fullback. He didn't just block. He caught passes like a wide receiver, ran like a halfback, and punished defenders with the power of a linebacker. Over 3 seasons, he led BYU in receptions, piling up more than 1,900 receiving yards and countless first downs. It was clear to anyone watching that Todd wasn't just another athlete. He was a revolutionary, even if the world hadn't caught up yet. And then came the call every college athlete dreams of. In 1978, the Dallas Cowboys, the crowned kings of the NFL, selected Todd in the second round of the draft. It should have been the beginning of a long, glittering professional career. But life had other plans. Dallas didn't see Todd as the multi-dimensional fullback he had become. They wanted to mold him into a tight end, a role he resisted fiercely. Todd clung to his identity, refusing to change. In a cruel twist, a devastating foot injury during preseason snatched away his rookie season before it ever began. Within months, he was cut. Dreams shattered. The New York Giants offered a brief lifeline, but again, the same struggle unfolded. A refusal to switch positions, and a release that felt like a door slamming shut. For a moment, it looked like Todd's NFL dream had ended before it truly began. But fate, like Todd, was stubborn. In 1979, the Oakland Raiders, the league's renegades, the misfits, the underdogs, offered him a chance. It wasn't glamorous. Todd toiled away on special teams, grinding, hitting, scraping for every opportunity. He worked in the shadows, away from the spotlight, but slowly, he adapted. Gradually, he began to understand that survival sometimes meant transformation. By 1982, Todd Christensen, the fullback who refused to change, became Todd Christensen, the tight end who changed the game. The very next season, he erupted. 92 receptions, more than 1,200 receiving yards, staggering numbers, not just for a tight end, but for any pass catcher in the league. He led the NFL in receptions, a feat almost unthinkable for his position at the time. And, in January of 1984, Todd stood at the pinnacle of football, hoisting the Lombardi Trophy as a champion of Super Bowl XVIII. The Raiders had dominated the Washington Redskins, and Todd was at the heart of it. His success wasn't a fluke. Over the next 5 seasons, no one, not wide receivers, not running backs, not even the league's brightest stars, caught more passes than Todd Christensen. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro selection, and a record breaker whose impact changed the way teams thought about the tight end position forever. Yet Todd's greatness wasn't just in the numbers, it was in the way he played. Every route was run with the precision of a mathematician sketching angles on a board. Every catch was a testament to discipline and grit. He wasn't the fastest player, nor the flashiest, but he outthought, outworked, and outfought defenders at every turn. Still, every battle leaves scars. As the 1980s wore on, Todd's body began to bear the weight of 1,000 collisions, rib fractures, knee injuries, concussions, the kind of cumulative trauma that, in today's NFL, would spark immediate concern, but back then was often ignored or dismissed. By 1988, the pain was too much to bear. Quietly, with little fanfare, Todd Christensen retired from the NFL. But even then, he wasn't ready to let go of competition. He attempted to pivot to professional baseball, chasing another dream with the same stubborn fire that had fueled his football career. Though he didn't make it to the major leagues, his determination was awe-inspiring. Later, he threw himself into masters athletics, competing in decathlons and pentathlons, proving that the warrior inside him still burned bright. Off the field, Todd built a new life centered around family, faith, and broadcasting. His voice became a familiar one to NFL fans, offering sharp, witty, and often brutally honest insights into the game he knew so intimately. He became a beloved figure in his community, a man of principle and compassion. But somewhere, quietly, another battle had begun. Todd's health began to falter. Years of physical strain, coupled with underlying conditions, led to liver failure. In 2012, doctors told him he needed a transplant to survive. Todd, ever the fighter, underwent the procedure, but the victory was short-lived. Complications set in. Infections, organ rejection, the cruel realities of post-transplant life. The man who had stood tall against the fiercest defenders the NFL had to offer was now locked in a battle with his own body. A battle fought in hospital rooms under harsh fluorescent lights, with no cheering crowds, no roaring fans. On November 13th, 2013, Todd Christensen's fight ended. He was just 57 years old. The news barely made national headlines. No official league memorial. No moment of silence in packed stadiums. Just the quiet grief of family, friends, and those few who truly understood the giant who had passed. And yet, Todd's legacy lingers. Today, tight ends dominate the NFL in ways unimaginable in Todd's era. Players like Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Mark Andrews thrive in roles that Todd helped invent. Not just blockers or occasional receivers, but true hybrid weapons capable of changing games. Without Todd Christensen, the modern tight end might not exist as we know it. Still, despite his groundbreaking career, Todd's name remains absent from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His statistics outshine many who have been enshrined. His influence on the game is undeniable. And yet, year after year, the call to Canton has not come. Some say it's because his peak years were too brief. Others whisper that Todd's refusal to conform, his unwillingness to play the political game, cost him the recognition he deserved. Perhaps, in a league that often prefers neatly packaged narratives, Todd Christensen's story was too messy, too human, too real. But for those who truly know the game, who understand the sacrifices hidden behind the highlight reels, Todd's legacy is clear. He was a trailblazer, a fighter, a champion, both on the field and in the final quiet battles of his life. And maybe that's the real measure of a man. Not the trophies, not the headlines, but the battles fought when no one is watching. The fights endured when there's no promise of applause. The silent, heartbreaking moments where true courage is revealed. Todd Christensen showed us all what it means to fight with everything you have until the very end. And maybe, just maybe, it's time the world finally remembered. Because legends aren't made by statistics alone. They're made by heart. And Todd Christensen's heart never stopped fighting. If Todd Christensen's story moved you, if you believe his fight, his legacy, and his impact deserve to be remembered, then let your voice be part of that memory. Share this video, leave a comment below. Tell us, should Todd Christensen finally be honored among the greatest in the Hall of Fame? Because sometimes the world forgets true heroes, but together we can make sure Todd Christensen's light never fades.